On our interview segment today, our producer O.C. Ugu had a chat with an investment banker and sports investment expert with GTI Investment. He's no other person but Nelson Ine, who will be giving sportsmen and women some nugget on how to diversify their savings to prevent losing everything, like what is happening to former Jamaican athlete Usain Bolt, who was probably, he has lost $12.8 million of his savings to what? A management bank. Well, maybe you should just see this as our corporate social responsibility to sports celebrity, which is a means of ensuring our athletes don't suffer after years of hard work and tenacity at a higher stage. Let's take this time out to probably listen to Ine Nelson as he educates us, not just sportsmen and women, even us probably that have, I want to probably delve into sports in the future. Let's hear Nelson and O.C. Ugu.
And straight to business, I have Mr. Nelson Ine, who is a banking expert, investment banking expert, who's going to be talking to us about how sportsmen and women can safeguard their funds. You will remember some weeks back that Usain Bolt lost about $12.8 million to scammers, online scammers from his investment bank, one of those investment banks in Jamaica, Stocks and Security Limited, and the money was reduced to just $12,000. These funds, the sport legend said he has kept for himself and his family when he retires completely as pension for him. So bad. But we have someone here in the studio that want to tell us more, especially the sportsmen and women, on how to invest their funds in a more secured manner to avoid incidences like this that might make these people regret even going to sports as a whole. Good day and welcome to the show, Mr. Nelson Ine from GTI.
Thank you very much, O.C. It's nice to be on your show.
For Nigerians that don't really know your depth, don't know your expertise, can you tell them what you do with GTI, investment banking?
Okay, fine. My background is in investment banking and sports management. I have a master's degree in both areas of discipline. Based on my background, I'm the project director of the Nigerian Football Fund, and also the executive director in GTI Asset Management and Trust Limited. So it's based on this experience that we're actually working on the Nigerian Football Fund. But again, going to the case you have just mentioned about sportsmen and celebrities losing money on very bad investments. And it's also good because today the entertainment industry have seen a lot of the artists and the sports athletes earning good money in terms of their sign-on fees and the kind of salaries they earn, and even appearance fees and also endorsements they get from their profession. You see, for many of them, what they actually know is either sports or music. They don't really understand the investment world very well. And that is why they need experts who can guide them in that area as they make this money. And sometimes, given the kind of lifestyle many of them are involved in, they fritter away a lot of these funds. And you see, a few years after their retirement, they become bankrupt, and many of them cannot even cope. We have cases of a lot of athletes suffering from that kind of situation in Nigeria. Some lost their money through bad investment, and some lost their money due to bad financial recklessness and indiscipline. But going by the case of Usain Bolt now, in his own case he invested, but unfortunately he met some people who flees that investment and lost all his investment. Now it is instructive for athletes and those in the entertainment world to know that when they make this money, they need to look at a diversified portfolio. Diversified portfolio on one hand, and two, not concentrating all the investments in one particular institution. In that way, they can diversify their risk, and also the investments they put their money into should be diversified investments, some in the financial instruments like fixed deposits, and some in stocks, some in bonds, and also they must also have a pension scheme, an arrangement with a pension fund administrator. Apart from that, you should also look at the real estate. You see, when you have your investment diversified in this way, it is difficult for just one aspect of the investment to take you down. Yes, investment can go bad, not only for the athletes, even for the ordinary person that does investment. People have invested in banks, and banks have gone bankrupt, they folded up. People have invested in finance institutions that have gone under. So, but you see, what is advisable is that you don't concentrate all your investment in one institution, and you don't concentrate all your investment in just one investment asset. So it's good you diversify the investment in various assets, and you also, I would advise, at least use about 2 or 3 institutions for your investment, so that the 3 of them cannot go down at the same time. So on one hand, you have different investment institutions you are dealing with. On the other hand, you have different classes of assets you have invested your money in, like the real estate, like I mentioned earlier on, money market instruments like fixed deposits. You can also invest in stocks. Even in the case of stocks, you have the choice to invest in different stocks of different companies. So even if one company is going down, your investment in other companies you have invested in will still be standing. So, and again, it's also very instructive for them to have a pension scheme arrangement with the pension administrators. So if you have the funds diversified in these various investment outlets, it is very difficult for just one aspect of it to take that individual down. Because these athletes, the professional elite athletes, they actually earn some good money, and you know their career is very short. Now, when people see them earn this money, and even for many of them that earn this money, they always forget that they don't have the luxury of other professionals who can stay in their professional for 30 years, 35 years. Their career has a very short span of active 15 to 18 years. And many of them start at a very young age. Most of them will even retire in their early 30s or mid-30s. They are done. They are retired. So at that point, if all the money they have accumulated over that period is not properly invested, the chances of them going bankrupt few years upon retirement is very, very high, because of the kind of lifestyle many of them engage in. So these are some of the problems they suffer, and this is what we recommend to any athlete that is watching this program today, or any musician. Just remember that when you retire at the age of 32 or 33 or 35 or even 40, and the grace of God keeps you to live for another 30 or 40 years, when you may not be earning the income the way you earn it for these years, then I think that should be a food for thought for anyone to know that that money is earning now. He needs to invest wisely.
So, thank you so much. You've really given us a very big in-depth on how this player should save for the rainy days and save in a more secured manner. But most of these instances, most of these examples, cases you've given right now, I, as a sport journalist, am not even aware of them. And I believe most of these sportsmen and women or celebrities, like you always mention, they are not informed. They are not aware. The ignorance is just overboard. What are the investment banks doing as regards, making sure these people, the right people actually now, because they are investors, I see them, invest rightly and get more information on how to spread their tentacles in terms of investing properly.
Yeah, I think again, you see, sometimes even some of these athletes or these celebrities you mentioned, they are very skeptical about dealing with people they are not close to. So most times they invest all their trust in their managers. And so if the manager is also not well grounded in terms of knowledge, diversified knowledge, to look at them from a very diverse perspective, the chances of those athletes or celebrities making wrong decisions is very high. Look, many of them became popular at a very young age. Imagine a teenager or a 20-year-old boy signing a contract of, let's say, $10 million, $5 million. Let's be honest with ourselves, 19, 20-year-old or even 21-year-old. Let's cast our mind back when we are that age, exposed to that kind of money, and you don't have the right people to guide you, the chances of making the wrong decision is extremely high. Very, very high. You know? So the whole idea now is to, at that level, we speak to the managers of these athletes, and sometimes when we have opportunity to speak to these athletes, or when they are together, we speak to them to advise them on this investment arrangement, because it is very, very important. So, and I will even advise a lot of football academies today, even a lot of artist managers today, they should also have an arrangement with investment bankers to have sessions with them from time to time. The learning process is a continuous thing. It's not a one-off thing, you know, and that will help a lot to guide them.
I agree with you. That will really help a lot. Starting from the cradle with the sports like football academy,
yes,
to inculcate it in them.
Yes.
When you get to the top, know how to manage your funds.
Exactly.
I won't let you go without asking you this question just in 60 seconds. That money now that has been lost, is there any way Usain Bolt is going to regain it? Just in 60 seconds, please. I'm sorry.
Well, the truth is that the circumstances of that, there are various options open for recovery that he can exploit. There are legal measures he can take. But then again, it depends on the institution that he's dealing with. If the institution is buoyant and has the capacity to, I mean, if he takes illegal action against them, they have the capacity to make refund if the case of negligence has been proved against them, or outright theft, you know, of those unprofessional misconducts now, then there's room to regain. But again, if the institution is not in the capacity to even make a refund, or this institution becomes bankrupt, how do you now make recovery in that case, even if you have a judgment against them? It's going to be difficult. These are some of the critical issues that you need to look at.
I wish you had much time on the show, Mr. Ine. You've been so much of an eye-opener in terms of these sportsmen and women celebrities investing at their funds for future purpose. And we hope one day again we'll bring you back to the studio to inform us more, to educate us more. Not just the sportsmen also, because I'm being educated. Tomorrow I want to invest my money too. Who says I can't do that? Thank you so much, Mr. Nelson. We hope to see more from GTI in the years to come, especially the partnership with the Nigeria Football Federation, which is making sure the Nigeria Professional Football League is taken to the next level. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
And that's our part on this interview section on Sports 5. Back now to Osaibo for the rest of the show.
Wow, what an advice coming from a sport expert and management. As in, we needed that, because some of our players or some of our sportsmen and women are too extravagant in their spending. They need to start putting them in check. Anyways, thank you so much, my producer, O.C. Ugu, and of course, Nelson Ine.